You're listening to TalkTainmentRadio.com.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Hello, good evening. You're listening to TalkTainmentRadio.com, and this is Dr. Bass Claude Smith on Stairway to Heaven. And Stairway to Heaven is sponsored by the Keys of Harmony and the Refuge Baptist Church, where Kaiser Jones is the pastor. My topic today was what makes people angry. But from that, I'll give my little shout out, say hello to everybody before I get into the subject. I'm giving Core Lab, JC. My sister Margie, which is in Ohio East Hospital, she had a little stroke, and to my wife and other people, and Latoya of Core Lab, all my friends there. So, and to Bishop Shouts and the Lynch family. Getting into my subject today is that what makes people mad is coming out of 13th verse of the 2nd Timothy, where it says, while evil people and impostors will go to from worse but worsen and deceiving people. Well, what I'm saying is that people, what make people so angry and what make people mad, and from that, there's a lot of things that go on that will make people angry and make people mad. We have people today that really just get angry and mad over anything. It doesn't matter what it is, who it is, or how it got started. We realize sometimes we have to wonder what makes us angry. Any little thing that would make you angry will get you anger, but you can't let little stuff like that get you angry or make you mad. You have to try to calm your temperature and cool it down. Getting to other things, that evil things people do to make it worse and to get you angry. It could be like a little big step on the shoe, or somebody can have scratch right on a piece of paper that was yours, and people get angry about that. But that's a little anger. But the anger I'm talking about is worse. It's going to be a little worse. And I'm going to try to do it step by step. I don't have my notes, but we're going to do it step by step. First thing, did you know people that get angry have a jealousy? They have a jealousy of anything. And every time you get something that they don't have, they got in their mind that they should be first and you be second. You cannot let anything that gets you, that cause he brought something, get you angry and get jealousy of. And that's what causes a lot of problems. People get angry because you dress better, you look better, and you're not doing what they want you to do. They get angry because they can't control you and they tried, or they mess up. And when they mess up because they couldn't get a hold of you, it gets worse and worse, and they will try other things to get you with them. Many times, the angry, I call them impostors. And they will come along and say they this and that, and they're not, just to get next to you or get you in get into their pockets. What I'm saying is, well, I got him in my bag, I can do what I want to do. And that's because of anger and jealousy. Many times I have been there with angry people that sometimes, maybe I may have caused you to get angry, may not. But there are times that people do cause you to get angry. But what really makes you mad about is that, make them mad about because it's little or nothing. It's not really an anger. It's nothing you should be angry about. Maybe because things don't go their way, or things they try to do didn't work out, or it could be anything. They could have a mean, doubtful downfall on their syndrome down on them. I'm not talking about the disease, but a downfall or low profile. and they love to have someone that has profile will stay in that profile, and you can't get them out. The only way some people can get out of that if somebody would come along and give them a hug or sit down and talk to them and show them the ease. They don't snatch them out of it. They ease their way out of it, and that's what when you ease them out of it, just take it step by step. Don't rush them out. Just let them ease them. Let them watch the things you do. Because some of us have real angry tempers, very, very bad tempers, and that makes us angry. It makes us want to tear up something or hurt somebody real, real bad. It also makes us do things that we should be sorry for later on. The thing about that is, when you do something like that, you've done it. The first thing that comes to your mind, I shouldn't have done it. I should have waited, but you had time to think, and you didn't take time to think it out. So you proceed with it. This anger is so bad that it will turn like a tornado or a storm going through the city, tearing it down brick by brick by brick. And when that happens, when you turn down things brick by brick by brick, you tear down a house or a happy home. Some people have ways of showing how to destroy your happiness because they're not happy. And this is what they're angry about. It's the old movie, good versus evil, or evil versus good. This person's too good to do what this is, so I'm going to go over there and step in and try to take it over or destroy it. Give him some of my angriness and give him some of my madness. And when they try to give you, which you should walk away and block it out. You don't give away your madness, but you got to be careful about your madness, because your madness can hurt somebody. You can break somebody real with your words that you use, and the words that you use that will make you very angry. There are times I have watched movies and see how. So I always say, well, that's just in the movie, but I found out, well, the angry person that you see in the movie is out here. And the one thing I learned, your worst enemy is yourself. And your worst enemy can get you involved in a lot of things. It's not the guy next door or the guy down the street or the person around the corner or around the world. The worst enemy is yourself. And that anger comes out of you. There's a good side of you and there's a bad side. If you let the bad side come in and take over you, you will always be angry. You will never be happy. Can't nobody come up there and talk to you and say, well, I don't believe this, that, I ain't gonna let you do this and that. You gotta walk away from it. Let them walk away and live in their own world for a while. And maybe after they live in their own world for a while and find out what I did was wrong, or find out I had no business doing that. Sometimes they will come to their senses and find out what they did wrong. And there are times, sometimes you have to learn to get away from it. Times get harder and harder when you got that angry. And you climb hard when you make people angry. But if I'm gonna say this, if you want to get involved with this conversation, call me at 614-817-5588. I do the best I can and answer your questions. But getting back to my topic, anger is a killer. It's the worst enemy in your life, and I say in the world. It is a person who comes out, seek, destroy, and devour you. He can impersonate another person. He can impersonate the beautiful person in the world. And he can con you any way he wants you. Anger has a tendency to pick his victims, or pick the people who he wants to get with. He also has a tendency to find the weakest one out of the bunch. He does not go with the strongest one, but he goes with the weak one. Anger is one of the Satan's partners, or one of his employees. Or let's say hitman. Let's be trying to say hitman. Anger is his hitman. Is a hitman. And you know how they used to do in the gangster days, that they want to knock on somebody, they hire a hitman, they pay so many thousands of dollars to get this man killed, to see this man dead. But anger is a hitman. The reason why I say that's angry, who this person angry is, because it could be anybody. But anger is a person that is a guy that say, I'm gonna walk down your street. I'm gonna find out who I can make angry. I'm gonna walk down your street and find out who property that I can destroy, or what house that I can take. I'm walking down your street to mess with your children, your sons, your daughters, your cousins, your grandchildren. I'm gonna walk down your street, and I'm gonna pick your street would be the one I would pick. It seems like it's nice and everything, but let me and my partners come through here and tear it apart and destroy it. It has a tendency to build its own little headquarters and have its own little gang with them. Before he bring his partners in, he's gonna go check it out and stake it out and see what it looks like. He's gonna walk around, stake it out and find out, pick out the houses, the cars, and the people who he wants to get involved with him. So therefore, he becomes an imposter. He becomes an imposter of who he is and who he's not. He knows who he really is, but he's coming to you as a different person. The imposter is always a person that does always wants to be with you when you're not trying to do the right thing. An imposter always likes people who tries to do what they really can do. Anytime that imposter come around with Mr. Anger, Mr. Angry and has changed his style, he changes his name, he changes his whole privilege about him. He changes that he may not even look at you any way he can. The imposter also has a way of telling you he don't want to be telling you that he doesn't care who he hurt, but he's going to hurt somebody. So let's start this way with him. Mr. Imposter, or Mr. Anger, I'm going to say Mr. Anger, he's going to come knock on your door, and he's going to say he is John Doe. And maybe John Doe will pretend like he is a salesman, insurance agent, or anything he could think of when he knocks on your door. After he get there, you open the door, he's checking out the surroundings, he's checking out what's in your house, and he's checking out what you got. Then after you tell him no, he'll go home, do his homework on you, and watch every move you make, what time you come in, what time you get off. That's what the imposter will do. Mr. Anger is in charge of a Mr. Imposter. They get their heads together, and they sit down and say, well, here's what we gonna do. Let's go in here, say what we got, set up a phony business, and say we this and that. And after we do that, find out what we are and what we are and everything, we become more and more valuable or valued to them, because he's going to come in there and sweet talk you. Although you're the nice, sweet-kinded, soft-hearted person, he's going to come in there and destroy your happiness. You got to find some type of way to destroy your happiness, and some way to destroy your kindness, mental being. Let's put it that way. He knows that you have loved ones. And the first one he's going to hit, the youngest first. Maybe the baby or the oldest. Doesn't matter which one of that in that family line. He's going to get somebody to get you angry. He may take one of your sons, may take your daughters, especially girls. They love little ladies that they can get them angry or get them to turn against their own parents. Also, young men, they also have ways to get the young men, but still, this is your imposter, and this is Mr. Angry. But Mr. Imposter, he is going to say, let's start out with the son. He got his group. He's got a little gang on the corner. He got his little disciples. And they come to your son, they talk this and that and the other, tell them certain things that they can do and certain things that they can't, what they will do, what they will not do. The only thing that will happen about them is that when the imposter does get his stuff together, he's still showing you the good side of things, but deep inside, he's not showing you his real colors. So, let's say that he's going to put his friends up against his son. Their son become friends with one of them, never knowing who is he's a representative, never knowing what's behind the back, say door number 2. Now door number 1's been open, but door number 2 is still closed. And once you go in door number 2, that's just the beginning. He's door number 2, he's introduced to a lot of things that look good, that ain't good. And he keep on going, then once he got your son, your child, or you hooked on what he's got to show, it may look pretty and beautiful. You are there and trying to get your mind, say, this looks nice. And it's just slowly pulling you in day by day and hour by hour. You can't get away from him because he's knocking on your door or he's calling you on the phone every day. But when that happens, you're on the door every day, knocking on the door every day, you become closer and closer to him. Y'all begin to become good friends. But next step is door number 3. Door number 3, you have to prove yourself. You have to prove yourself. It's called initiation to the rule, initiation to the club. And once you get initiated to the club or to the gang or organization, you find yourself in a whole lot of trouble. It's coming. You're not there yet, but you're getting there. And finally, when he got you where you're at, boom, you doing what he wants you to do. You done did it now. Now you become angry number 1. And you begin to play the games that he taught you on other people. And you start getting other people angry. There are times you can make people angry where you're ready to want to shoot them, kill them, or either some way of torture to bring them down. And that's the way it happens. They do something to give you torture and bring it down. And once you bring that torture down and put you in a rut, that's it. You're there. But one thing that you didn't do, you didn't take time to think about it because you were blind to the situation that made you look so beautiful and so inviting that you didn't take second time to thought. Say, do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? And that's the thing it is. Do I want to do this or do I not want to do this? And if I don't want to do this, you ain't going to do it. But to get to the point where I'm too weak, I'm going to do this anyway, you go ahead and do it anyway. For example, initiation. There's initiation, say like, okay, let's say you with your friends, you with Mr. Anger and Mr. Imposter. You done stepped in door number 3. We're gonna take a walk down the street. And you with him and his buddies, and they stop to do something that you don't do. Or they're gonna stop to do something that you've never done in your life. So what they do, they give you a challenge of what to do to really be a full-fledged member. And when you're a full-fledged member, to become a full-fledged member, it's just called initiation to the rules. The reason why this is initiation, because if you decide to break away, they got something over your head to hold you with. They have things that they can show people to hold you with. And sometimes there'll be a time they might just stab you in the back and call the man and say, hey, he did it, and you know you didn't do it. They can set you up that way. So you have to kind of look at things that before you do it and make a decision that you ain't gonna do it. Either you are or either you're not. You got to kind of look at the way it's going on. Meantime, when we do that, and don't take time to look at stuff, and don't take time to think about it, we do it anyway. This is why things get worse. Then you start deceiving your family, yourself. And when you start deceiving things, you don't care. So we become a part of that anger class. And it makes you angry. And what you done, what you did, you'll be saying, why did I do this when you should have time, when you didn't take time to think? Should I do this or should I not? But you go do it anyway, just to get involved with your friends. We got to learn, and it takes time, that we're going to have to learn that once you meet Imposter, Mr. Imposter, or you're going to have to learn that when we get it on, we're going to have to kind of learn how to break away. First thing, think about it before you do it, because you have time. But if you don't have time, you're going to walk down that boat, and you're going to walk in that club, and you're going to always stay there in that club and in on that boat. Mr. Anger doesn't care. He doesn't care what you do. He doesn't care how he do to you. He just wants you on his side because he is miserable. And they say misery loves company. And that the misery loves company. What can you do about it? Best thing to walk away and don't pay it no attention. Let him waddle. Let him stay in that dirt that he's in. Because if you fall in it, you're going to be right there in that class with them. You have to think things over and try to get things where you don't want to be there or you don't need to be there. But once you don't want to be there and be there, then you are a person of disresponsibility, or you decide not to. And then once you get there, your family is going to feel bad, wonder where they went wrong, and they did their best for you to keep you away from that. You can't you understand that this is why so many of us get with people and we get in problems and we get in trouble, because we got people, imposters out there, say what they are and they're not really what they say they are, because they are the ones that will get you, if you're weak enough, they will get you where they want you to be. Not the way where you want to go, but get you where they want you to be. You got to be on your own, and you got to be by yourself to get away from them. My suggestion to you is this. That is to watch, look, and listen. And that you use those three, you'll find out how things was. People can tell you things about a person, but you let that person show themselves. This is TalkTameRadio.com, and you listen to Stairway to Heaven, and I'm your host, Dr. Bass Claude Smith. And I'd like to say also, I forgot my little friend who's trying to play guitar. My son, I want you to listen to this, my little friend. Listen to all types of music, and you'll learn. But like my topic today is what make people angry. And this came to me off the top of my head because I didn't know what to do part two of what I said, shame in the city or shame on you. And this is part of shame on you. I'm going to go back to that, too. There's something else that I found out, too, about the imposter and Mr. Angry. Remember, last time, if I remember, I said, when you get with somebody, they take you to the city called Shame, which is called Shame in the City. And once you, Mr. Imposter, has his own town, he had brought you and introduced you to Shame in the City. And once you get in that city, there's no way out unless you pull yourself out of it. If you want to stay there, you stay there, but you don't have to stay there. Really, you can pull out of it. Get away from that shame in the city. You have to think. You have to go on your knees and pray that the Lord to pull you out of there. And that way, you will become a better person. And you little people that wants to be shameful, let them stay there, because they need to find out for themselves. And have no remorse. No remorse about what they do. But Mr. Anger and Mr. Imposter, they got tricks up their sleeves all the time. They got games all the time, and every day there is a game. Every day. There's a party that they plan, and every day they're going to find someone who they can get involved with them. They're going to find someone who will stay with them to continue on their journey. It's not just one journey. It's 1,000 more. It's just like a bunch of marbles in a circle, and it counts to ball up. And you put them in a circle and get one to knock one out that circle. And that's what this is all about. The anger is always going to be there. And the anger is always going to stay there. Because Mr. Shame and Mr. Anger and Mr. Imposter are known as 3-in-1 brothers. And brothers are going to always hang in there together. And brothers will have to learn that, hey, Mr. Shame and Mr. Imposter, he's looking out for you. He's looking out very hard for you. Young ladies, let me get to you. There are times Mr. Imposter will set you up with someone that you think is cute, fine, because he has a car and he can drive up and down the street playing his music. Mr. Imposter and Mr. Anger will be dressed to the kill. And they have ways of pulling you young ladies in to do things that you thought you would never done in your life. But you'll find out for yourself. And you have to be careful how they do this, because there's a whole lot of Mr. Imposters and Mr. Impossible to try to lure you in. And I'm just going to cut this short right there because I don't want to get too deep into that. But getting back to my friends, stay away from anger. Stay away from the imposters. If you see one, they're not going to come out and tell you. Just watch what they do and watch what they say. Because anytime they pick you out and you're number one, they're going to stay in there and try to keep you with them. You have to find, as I said before, you're going to have to find your way out. Don't stay there and go down the tube or go down the mud with them. So that's where they want you to stay, because they're looking for the good people or the people ain't got nothing to do. Hey, this is Dr. Bass Claude Smith, and just listen to Stairway to Heaven. And to my YouTube friends, hey, I'll talk to you next time.